Howdy ho. Alright, scoot over a little bit. Feel like we're far apart. Okay. I guess we're kind of a little late, so we'll just go ahead and get started. Alright, it's week 6.
Yay.
And it's like the halfway mark. And usually week 6 is kind of everybody's little freak out moment because they realize that, oh, it's halfway.
Am I making enough progress?
I mean,
am I doing something wrong?
Yes, all the things, all the questions of possibly second guessing the process, those things are normal. It's very normal to have those feelings. But what we really encourage you to do, and if you haven't been doing this, take the pictures.
Yes.
Hopefully everybody took pictures in week 1. Even if you haven't been doing them, it's
You
totally
can still
fine.
pick up now because 6 weeks you can still see.
You would be
definitely.
pleasantly surprised, very
Yeah.
pleasantly surprised. And so what we encourage everybody to do, if you're having doubts on your progress, and I think maybe it was last week or the week before, I did a video in the app about busted can of biscuits and like holding on to water.
Yes.
Those are just going to be, you're going to have fluctuations like that. So you just chalk it up to like next week's going to be a better week. You're going to feel a little bit better. But just know that if you're checking off your habits and you are just plugging along with what we are suggesting that you do, you're golden. You're good. Okay, just stay the course. And if you ever doubt it, take week 1 pictures and then put them next to your most recent pictures. And we think you'll be very
Yeah,
pleasantly
because there's
surprised.
obviously non-scale victories, and that's what I tell my clients.
Sure.
Like,
Yes.
when they get frustrated at this point, like
Mhm.
you need to base it off how you're feeling, how your
Yes.
clothes are fitting, inches, and definitely the progress photos.
Yeah, because the scale, I know a lot of people are getting on that scale probably every day, even though we told you not to. We know it holds like a certain weight in your mind for what your progress is, what you want your progress to be. And the thing is that you can't control what your body is going to do. You can only control your actions, your choices, and what you do. And without a doubt that healthy individuals that have, normal body compositions or, healthy bodies, they do these habits day
Yep.
in and day out. And so you just have to let time pass and let the habits do the work,
And that's
do the
key
magic.
is time. Like,
I
be
know.
patient with
It's so hard.
the process.
So
and
hard.
trust it.
Yes. So anyways, we're moving on. So week 6 started out with talking about limiting factors and what is a limiting factor. And I don't care who you are, you have limiting factors. I know me personally, I've found some new ones during the quarantine.
I think a lot of people did sitting at
Yeah.
home. They're like, yeah.
Yeah, and this is another thing that I wanted to bring up is that limiting factors can change. Like a limiting factor is essentially anything that is keeping you from making the choices that you need to make to change your
Closer
current
to your
situation.
goals. And it
Yes.
can be the environment, and it can be people.
People, yes. And we've talked about this in the beginning, make your environment safe because that's going to influence what your choices are. Same thing with people, who do you surround yourself with? You're like the 5 people you're around the most.
Yes.
So it's not, we're saying that you need to like completely ditch your family and say
friends.
peace out. But just know that if you have family members or friends that are not necessarily on board yet, it is going to be more challenging for you to, make choices against the grain, against what everybody else wants to do. But it doesn't mean it's impossible. It's just you have to think a little bit outside the box to try to help set yourself up for success, regardless of the situation that you're in. And that, means, kind of dissecting what is wrong with your environment and what your limiting factors actually are. I mean, I always joke that one of my limiting factors is going over to other people's houses like that have snack foods.
Oh, yeah.
Like my sister's house and
Goldfish.
and I keep goldfish for Bishop.
Yeah.
But like if I go over to my sister's house and she has Lucky Charms, like those cereal.
You eat the marshmallows?
I eat the marshmallows. every time, and we laugh, and like I don't even care. It's like I don't even think that they count. You
Because
know?
you know that's what you do when you go over there. You know
Yeah, it's
there.
just gonna
it's like
happen.
a comfort thing.
It is gonna happen, and I mean, I can mentally prepare myself and say like, okay, stop being a stupid and don't eat the stupid marshmallows. Like, they're not even that good. But it's just one of those things that I don't know what happens whenever I step inside that house and I let my guard down and I'm like, ooh, those little bitty marshmallows, they're tiny, they don't count. And I don't think that they're doing any damage to anything. I'm just saying that it's one of those triggers that could lead to something else, you know, and that's a big thing to think about limiting factors. It may not be some big, you know, elephant in the room. It could be like a little thing, like your drive to work. Maybe it passes by Krispy Kreme and the light sign's on and you're like, oh my gosh, that's making me hungry. I want something yummy, and it makes you make a bad decision when you get to work or something like that. Like, is there something like that is, you know, influencing you and your choices and having an effect on you? So it's getting a little deep, you know, if you want it to. But then again, it could be just the people that you're around, and like, for example, office food, you know,
I feel like that's a big one, especially in the workforce, people's office. With drug
like
reps,
sales reps,
and it's like they're limiting factors. It's like they bring that food in, and it's just there staring at you.
Maybe we need to target sales reps. Like, hey,
whatever they're doing is working because it's obviously getting people to eat it.
I know. I'm just saying, like, maybe we should, like, you know, target some sales reps and be like, hey, would you like to, you know, improve your clients?
Exactly.
You know?
Bring them salad station, have a salad set up, or Qdoba, and have like a taco set up. Like, do a theme so there isn't all this sugary donuts and cookies and, you know, all kinds of...
We could change the world just by targeting sales reps.
I think so.
But yeah, so, you know, use that assignment to just kind of dig deep a little bit into why or what makes it easy to make certain choices. You know, that's what we're trying to get. You are always going to have limiting factors. You are always going to have things that pop up or people that derail you or whatever it is. But just being aware of them makes you that much more likely to figure out a plan B or a way around these limiting factors.
Yeah, especially like, I know like with mine is like family, because you know, it's hard to go. It's always family, but also like social events can be hard for a lot of people, but especially if you're going to someone's house for a social event or a party, like you can prepare and bring a dish, and I think that's what's neat is like, don't tell them it's clean kitchen, just bring it.
Right, yeah, exactly.
And
like,
if they like it, then you can be like, well, let me just tell you.
Yeah, July 4th is coming up, so like any kind of meatball, like the Harissa Espresso barbecue meatballs.
Those are my favorite.
I had, you know, burgers are good, and you can just, you know, add plants to your burger bowl or something like that. I've done that plenty of times at cookouts and stuff like that. It's just, again, you think about the scenario that you're in, and then you're like, all right, how could I work around these parameters and, you know, make myself successful? So that's just the lesson to help you kind of get in that mindset and get in that way of thinking. So, and if you need any ideas, of course, you know, ask your coach or ask on the Facebook group. I mean, I know a lot of people coming up with, like, we're having a July 4th thing out in our neighborhood. And a lot of people are planning stuff. So, you know, any ideas that you have, like, we love to see that on the Facebook group. So today you actually got one of my favorite lessons, emotional versus rational. And it ties into this whole, you know, what are your limiting factors, you know, if you have like this perfect plan planned out and then it all gets put in the blender, like majority of us has happened since COVID-19, you know, ensued, you know, it's almost like you need to figure out how to be a rational thinker and not the emotional side. You know, in that lesson we talk about this idea that we read in this book. It was the elephant and the rider. And so the elephant is this big, massive, you know, thing that is your emotional, you know, reaction to stuff. and it's really hard to control that big bad elephant.
Oh, yeah.
And the rider is on top, and he's the one directing the elephant going where they're supposed to. And so sometimes the elephant overpowers the rider. But the goal is to try to have a rational way of thinking of, okay, I understand that I want this thing, or I want to eat this thing, or I want to do this. And will it give me short-term gratification, or is it for long-term success? Like, do you need to tell yourself no this one time to be able to have success later on down the road? You know, so that it's a really, really good lesson. A lot of good aha moments can come out of it.
And a lot of times after you eat that thing that you like want so bad, it's like you usually feel guilty after anyway.
Yeah,
so it's
and
like that's the emotional part. You're like, why did I eat that?
It's like the marshmallows.
Oh, yeah.
Like that was straight up short term, like whatever.
Yeah.
I didn't need it. I didn't really want it.
No.
You know, if I really wanted something, I'm going to dip into my real 20%. And let's get some strict strawberry cake up in there. You know, now that's worth it, okay? Yeah. So these little short, you know, spur of the moment decisions or something like that, you know, we really want to try to think about, keep that long-term plan. Like, what is my ultimate goal of, you know, what I'm trying to create? So, for example, you know, if you're trying to break a habit of always eating something sweet after a meal, you know, what could you do to put in place that you don't crave that as often or something like that, you know, or don't keep stuff in the house that you know you're just going to nibble on, you know, type of thing. That would be a step to kind of cut that elephant out of the cycle and not make that emotional choice. And instead, okay, I'm going to drink a bunch of water or something.
Yeah, or choose fruit over the
fruit. Yeah, I'm going to eat my meal, have my fruit or whatever as my dessert, you know, and then move on with my day. Not saying that it's going to be easy in the beginning, but of course it'll get easier the more you practice it. The more you practice being a rational person. But we're all about that long-term game.
Yes.
Yeah. So give that lesson a listen or read. It's surely to help you out, especially with some perspective. The next lesson is the 80-20 rule. Everybody. I mean, we've already kind of dabbled in that. Like, you know the meal. Yes, your meal compliance charts. I mean, the 80-20 rule is basically means, you know, 80% of the time you do what you're supposed to do.
Yeah, fill in habits.
20% of the time you get some wiggle room. Like, no big deal. And that's how everybody should live. Like,
that's a healthy lifestyle.
It is. And if you put yourself into that percent of people that feel like they can only have success if they're 100% on, you are going to fail 100%.
Well, there's no happy medium. They're either all in or so like
and there's guilt associated with that. Where if you're like, oh, if I'm not 100% on this plan and doing it exactly right, checking all the boxes, you know, then it's all or nothing. I'm done.
Yeah.
You know, that's no way to be successful. You have to have some wiggle room, and so that's why we use the 80-20 philosophy. Is, you know, it gives you that wiggle room. And so in that lesson, we go over that message, but then also we dive into like what is a treat and what is a cheat. Now we don't necessarily like the word cheat meal because, again, everything's allowed. And you shouldn't feel guilty about having a meal that you want to enjoy. Like, I love pizza. Love pizza. I never feel guilty whenever I eat pizza. When I decide to eat it, I'm like, it's on.
I feel guilty if I eat like cookies.
Well, I would say you probably feel guilty. You feel bad, like
I feel bad.
Physically bad.
That's it. I don't feel guilty. I just feel bad after.
Yeah, like, because you know.
Not that I eat 20 cookies in a setting. Let me clarify that. I do not eat 20 cookies in a setting.
Right. No, but I'm saying, like, you know that that's not your normal, and you're gonna bounce back from it. You know, it's like whenever when I eat pizza, I eat a lot of it. Like, you know, don't interrupt me in my little pizza pie. But I know that it's gonna take me about 4 to 5 days to recover from it, like, just physically, and not, you know, hold on all the weight or the water, and, you know, feeling puffy, and my rings feeling tight, or, like, and just feeling like I'm cleaned out of the, junk or whatever. I know that about me because I've become so aware of how my body feels with certain foods in it. So, I know it's going to take me at least 4 days to kind of rebound after that. But I know that I don't feel guilty about it because I know that I'll bounce back.
Yeah.
And so that's one way of thinking of 80-20. It's not that you're supposed to feel guilty for eating the cheat meal.
And I don't think you're supposed to feel it as a reward.
Right.
You shouldn't use that as food.
You're not a dog.
Yeah, to reward yourself with this food,
Yeah. Now, but if it does help you to be like, okay, every 2 weeks or every, whatever.
But you're planning it. You have a plan
you're
in
going to
action.
hit your habits and you're going to do that. And that's just a quality control. If we get down to it, it's an intake control of you're not going to go off the deep end or you're going to put some parameters to control your urges.
And I tell clients all the time to plan your cheats.
Yeah.
You're less likely, if you just go in today I can eat whatever I want, you're going to blow the whole day out.
Yeah, you may have a party or something that's coming up that you want to, build up to or something like that. And that's just being a responsible, rational decision maker. But in that lesson, we talk about treats versus cheats. So a treat would be a little small thing, a glass of wine with your otherwise habit-filling meal, or a small little cookie or something, or chocolate. Yeah, nothing crazy.
Yeah.
So we usually say depending on the size of the treat, 3 of them could equal a cheat meal, a big pizza or burgers and French fries or something like that. So the collection of treats would equal a cheat meal. So it's just kind of give you an example of how you can view that volume of food. So you don't necessarily want to have treats sprinkled throughout the week or every single day or after every meal. Then it would kind of, it would just kind of sabotage your results. Mm-hmm. When you're I'm eating all this good stuff and da-da-da-da, but then on the backside you're adding in these small little sneak in
and
things.
They add up.
And they do. Yep. They do. And a big one is alcohol. Now, alcohol lesson is coming soon. I think it might be in 7. I'm not really sure. I can't remember.
Well, the thing with alcohol is it leads to poor food choices, more than likely. Not all the time. If you have a glass of wine or 2 at dinner with a healthy, compliant meal, it's fine. But if you're on the weekend out by the pool or at the beach,
and you're throwing them back, and then you're like, Doritos!
I'm hungry. Yeah.
Why did I say Doritos? Because that's what I would choose. But so it's just being a rational thinker, thinking about, okay, am I sabotaging myself with these little bitty add-ins? Put those add-ins, the treats, into your meal compliance chart and see how it, adds up. Because I say if you have a treat in your meal, that's not a compliant meal as a whole. Yeah. So then that's where you would see if it threw off your score. So,
that's a good idea.
So this week, habit-wise, I think that plant habit is not going to change the rest of the time. I think y'all are just kind of on cruise control. So the plant habit for level 1s is 4 or more servings of fruits or veggies. So basically you're putting a plan in every time you eat. You probably upped your meals, most likely. If you've been eating mostly whole foods, you're probably getting hungrier and you're wanting to eat more, which is awesome. Keep that up. So that's the level 1 habit. Level 2 habit is 6 or more veggies or 2 servings of veggies in your every meal that you eat. So if you only eat, twice a day or something like that, which I find that hard to believe as a level 1.
Yeah.
But if you do, at least you're getting, 2 servings in each meal. So, or if you are eating 3 times a day, then you're going to get 6 or more. So.
And I've gotten in the habit too of doing that with my meals because I eat the same breakfast every morning.
Oh yeah.
But, I'll throw the spinach and the egg whites and then do the zucchini. So
for sure. Yeah.
I mean, it's just common habit for me now to add in 2 vegetables.
Yeah, and that's what we want to get at. That's what we're working towards. Where you're not even thinking about I always eat that with my breakfast. You know, if people are like, why are you eating so many plants for breakfast? I'm like, because I just do.
Why aren't you eating them?
Yeah. yes. And so, and you know, when you mentioned about your breakfast, like eating the same thing I eat the same breakfast every single day. And look, hopefully a lot of you have gotten in a system of you have that habitual meal. Like those
and I love it.
I do
too. Crave it. I like it. It's structure.
It's a decision you don't have to make. Like it's already there. You already know you are going to have those plants, and you're going to get like 3 or 2 of them for the day in that one meal, and that makes you feel good.
Yep.
So if you have, that's a good idea for the Facebook group. If you have a habitual meal that you know hits all the markers and it hits all your habits, why don't you post a picture of it in the Facebook group and give us some ideas.
And it doesn't have to be breakfast. Any meal.
Yeah. Any meal that you eat probably the same thing every single day, or it could be a combination of meals, like you maybe not eat it every single day, but it's like one of your go-tos. Post it on the Facebook group and show us. We love to see that
stuff. And it can even be like the restaurant go-to.
For sure.
Because I think some people need to see that as well.
Like, what is your Monday lunch meal? Mine used to be Sally Station. I'm getting back to that. But, you know, since the opening up of everything. But yeah, if you have a habitual meal that every Tuesday, this is where you go for lunch, you know, and this is what you get, show us. So we're going to wrap it up there. Next week is week 7, and we're actually going to be diving into exercise.
Yes.
And nutrition and how that all kind of goes together for performance, especially if you're wanting to build muscle and get fitter.
Yes.
So if you have any questions, of course, holler at us. Measurements and pictures are due on Saturday, so get ready for that. Remember, like what I said in the beginning of the chat, if you're having a freak out moment, take your pictures and then compare them to week 1. Promise. Okay, you don't even have to upload them. You don't have to show anybody. Just show yourself. Okay? All right, so we will see y'all next week for week 7 Coaches Chat. Bye-bye, everybody.
Bye.